Hey everyone, so we're in Canmore right now, so you can see the three sisters up there, and we got mountain, high-leading peak. So I used to live in this house right over here, and we're gonna do a little tour around Canmore for the podcast this week. I thought it'd be fun to go visit all the places that kind of shaped my food exploring journey. So every morning I would wake up and I would look out the window, and my view would actually be the Gap and the east end of Rundle. And my friends lived right over here. So I would actually look out my bedroom window up at the top there, and I would look across the street to my friend's place, and then we would go out and we would hike and bike and mountain bike and run and do all sorts of fun stuff. But these guys over here who we're staying with right now, because I don't live there anymore, we actually they were my guinea pigs for a lot of my first creations. So we're gonna go see where some of my first creations started. It's a little overcast today, but it's absolutely gorgeous. So behind me is actually a super cute location. And this actually was where I first learned about raw foods, gluten-free foods, superfoods, and all that kind of stuff combined with while I was working at Nutter's. And I actually learned my first chocolatiering experience and working with chocolate was here. So the store is gone now, but it was this cute little store. My friend was a nutritionist. Her name was Sam. She ran the store, and she had all these different superfoods. And she had a partner, Joanne, and Joanne made raw foods. And so she made these amazing, like, cinnamon buns and sprouted crackers and all sorts of really tasty treats, little cashew cheesecakes and stuff. And it was in this building. And there's a lot of construction behind us now, but again, our view was the mountains. And I actually used to work at a landscaping company that was not far from here. So I worked at Nutter's as the assistant manager. I worked at the landscaping company, and then I would come here to this place at night and I would make chocolate. And so Sam had put out a post saying, I'm doing this raw chocolate class, so come learn to make chocolate. I thought that would be amazing. And so I actually came, learned to make chocolate here, went home to my place I was living, made all these different types of chocolate that she did not teach us. And I came back the next day and I said, "Oh, look at what I made." And she was like, "I didn't teach you any of that. Do you want to work for me?" And that was my first job as a chocolatier. And there was such an incredible food community here in Canmore. We had all sorts of different people that were, doing different lifestyles for food. Some of it was dietary reasons, and some of it was just because they wanted to explore some different offerings that were out there. Things like quinoa, that was new at the time, golden berries, goji berries, all these different foods that nobody really knew about. So this was a really pivotal place that I was at here in Canmore. It's something else now. There is a little bakery next door, but yeah, this is just right on one of the main drags here in Canmore. And when I say I miss living in Canmore, I miss living in Canmore. So a lot of my time was actually at this Nutter's here in Canmore. So when I lived here, I was actually the assistant manager at the store, and I also worked in the supplements department. And this it's probably still is. I don't live in Canmore anymore. Like you said, I wish I did. But it was a big community hub, and people from all over would come. We get a lot of tourists that would come in and pick up items when they were heading out to hike. And because the store was such a good high volume store, I got to meet a lot of reps from different companies. So not just the supplement companies, but a lot of the food companies. My manager that I had here, she's not at this store anymore. She's actually at a Nutter's in Cochrane. But when new items would come in, a lot of times I would get the items to test so that we could better inform customers on how to use these weird and random products that came into the store. And again, we've got beautiful views here. Beautiful views anywhere. Actually, you can see Lady Mac this way. So this is up there. That's Lady Mac. So wonderful place to work. So we're going to go inside and see a couple of my favorite sections in the store. So I was assistant manager in the supplements section, and this is one of the biggest supplement sections that you will find in any store anywhere. So we had all these different aisles, and again, I got to learn so much being around all of these supplements and superfoods, um, putting together sections in the store so people could find things easier. It was a lot of fun, and I love working here because we would get, a new product like, this is a product that I don't know, but when I worked here, the companies would come and they would bring us samples, and then we'd actually get to try them. And then we knew what products worked really well also. And that was just such a good benefit. So, between working at the New Roots and making chocolate and then being here in this Nutter's store in Canmore, my foodie inspirations and all of my learning is really where it started. So my love of tea actually started here in this store. So this is the tea selection. As you can see, it is massive. And again, we had a lot of companies like this company here. They would come and they would bring us so many things to try. And, with that, we really were able to serve the customers better because we actually drank everything that was in the store. This used to be my little desk over here, and on the counter back here, we actually would have our drinks for the day. And so everybody would take either a tea or a supplement drink or something, and we would try it out and drink all the different things. So anyways, this store was really special, and when I was here, I also got to meet lots of people that I ended up hiking with and biking with and running with. Canmore, if you do not know, it is a mountain town in the Bow Valley, the Canadian Rockies, and it is full of people that do outdoor sports. Pretty much everybody has a bike rack. In the summertime and in the wintertime, your vehicle is full of cross-country skis or snowshoes or some other way to enjoy the outdoors. And from being here, I actually was able to do some really cool events. I trained up in the mountains here. I ran the death race as part of a team. I did all sorts of really cool trail running races. And because I was back and forth here to Nevada, I got to really utilize a lot of the superfoods and everything that I was using here for some of those adventures. So this is just such a special place. And so I thought I'd bring you here so you can see this beautiful store and everything that it has to offer. So if you're in Canmore, definitely check this place out. It is absolutely fantastic. All right, something that's coming up is I am going to do the Super Taster training, and I realized that this local company here, Blaine and Drusick, he has hundreds of single note aromas. So we are going to put together a aroma sensory training kit, and it's so nice that from working here, I remembered that we have somebody right here in Alberta, so I can get a local product instead of spending 400 pounds to get a product from the UK. I could not find anything that was here. And so with each of these, I can actually go and I should be able to get smaller than these 12 mil sizes directly from Blaine and Drusick. I was just about to leave and I remembered to come on over here because this is a perfect example. So this is actually a company owned by a friend. And so he would come in and he would bring in all these incredible products, and he would do demos and make different things with it so that we could learn how to use it. And then let's go down a little further. Organic Traditions was a company that I used all the time. Now I have different companies because we have different wholesalers, but these were a lot of the first products that I used when my focus was really the raw, vegan, gluten-free foods. Okay, the last thing that I want to show you, because I keep remembering things, Jason just reminded me. The only place that we can get the good crystallized ginger is here at Nutter's in Canmore. So we're going to buy a lot of ginger because we need it for our chocolate. And this is the only one that has a great ginger taste A little bit spicy, but it's not garbage ginger. So this was another place that I used to spend a lot of time, was the book section at Canmore Books, and I actually was able to get a lot of specialty books because they knew when new things came in, I would probably want them, so they ordered them for me. But today, when I'm here, I actually just found the spice box, and so I'm going to buy this, and I will review this on another episode because we're going to use this for the sensory training. So this section actually used to be in a different part of the store, and it's a lot smaller than it used to be, but still lots of good stuff here. So this is one of the places I used to go to a lot in Canmore, and this is the spring. So you can come in here and you can fill your bottles up with spring water.
You have one more to fill?
Yeah, but you go ahead.
Okay, I'll do
So Grace is our guinea pig to fill up this water. So it does come straight out, and it's fresh water. It's absolutely delicious. And Jim is filling the other one there. So we're going to have spring water to take home. So busy place. It's just in the middle of the forest here. So it's just up on the mountain. I'm not going to tell you exactly where this is though, because it's a busy place that the locals know, and a lot of people love to come and get their water here. Now the thing is, with places like this, the locals take care of it. You know, there's no garbage around it. It's not dirty. There's no buildup. When the pipe gets plugged up, people will actually go in and fix it up. And I've met so many cool foodie people coming out to the spring and getting water. And also just getting, you know, you say to somebody, oh, I'm coming out to the spring to get water. And usually somebody's like, I have a carboy or two. Can you fill mine up? So it's a wonderful place to meet people that care about food and care about what they're putting in their bodies. We're live. So Jason and I are up here in Canmore with our friends Jim and Grace, and we showed your house the other day where I used to live. And we're kind of just doing a little bit of a, you know, being in Canmore again and looking back at sort of the food journey and all the things that we've done. And one of the things that I loved with you guys was living across the street. I used to come over with my creations, and so thinking back to some of the creations that I made, like what stuck out as something that you liked?
Well, probably the fact that you could go non-dairy and make something that tasted exactly like a Black Forest cake. That's what I'll always remember. I'm like, there's no way that this is non-dairy.
Yeah.
Because it was that good.
Yeah.
That's my most memorable experience. And I was only too happy to be your guinea pig.
Yeah.
Both of us, yes.
Yeah, you were my guinea pig too.
Oh yes, and the one that sticks out was the Black Forest cake for me as well. And there was always interesting things that you did with food that I never had thought of doing. Yeah, we miss having you there, actually.
I miss living there.
We liked being guinea pigs, actually.
Well, and in my little bit that I talked about earlier, you know, when I moved to Canmore was when I actually met all the different food people and started doing the dairy-free and the gluten-free. And like you said, like to do something like that, most people think it can't be done. And it can. And you guys are both athletes. And so, you know, being out there and being nutrition for when you're out and about, one of the things I did while I was here was develop the superfood granola bars, which I think you guys got, didn't you?
I can't remember.
I think you did.
I
Probably
did.
sampled them.
I had so many
sure.
samples. They're starting to all kind of blur together.
Yeah, yeah. And it was something that I took when because I was going back and forth all the time to Nevada when I was living across the street from you guys, and I took those bars back and forth all so it was kind of fun to do as well. So, and you guys just did a big ride this morning, and then we made sure to feed you afterwards.
With a lovely breakfast brunch, all kinds of unique things. It was really good.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So now, where are we right now? Because you guys brought us to a space that we've
This
never
is
been.
So we're actually in Banff, which is right next door to Canmore, just a short drive away, and we're at the kind of historical site of Lower Bank, which was, people that don't know, it was actually a coal mining operation that took place in the early 1900s. And where we're actually sitting is the actual steps that used to go to the church, Holy Trinity Church, and they stayed here in service until 1922. But as you can see, church is gone, but they left the stairs behind. So.
Yeah. And we have a view of one of our favorite mountains on the other side, Cascade Mountain, as well. And I think one of the things we were just kind of chatting earlier is, when you live in a place like this, you got a lot of tourists, which is a challenge, but you've got this to deal, and you get to see it.
We found a quiet little spot away from all the tourists, which is so nice. It's like there's no one around us.
Yeah,
And yet there's a little road that goes by here and it's constant traffic. But no one knows we're here.
Nobody knows we're here. It's like we're hiding.
Yeah.
Well, and I lived in the Bow Valley for a couple of years, shorter than you guys, but this today was great because we came to Bankhead. I've never stopped here before, and we stopped over at Johnson Lake as well. And we went by where the original James Bond lived.
That's going to be for another episode, because that's a whole other story.
Yes. So we will have that on a whole other episode. But yeah, I just thank you for being my guinea pigs for so many years.
Was not a hardship at all.
It was pretty easy peasy, and we're actually I've been recreating some of the recipes that I used to make, and I found my old books that I had, like my recipe books when I was here, but I didn't name them. So like a lot of the stuff that I made for you guys, it's in the recipe books, but I have no idea what it actually is. So
Until you recreate it.
until I recreate it, exactly. So awesome, and thanks for Jason being behind the camera.
Thanks, Jason.
One of the reasons I wanted to do this kind of retrospective and go to some of the places in Canmore was prior to living in Canmore, I didn't really think about food. And, food was you go to the grocery store, you get your pasta, your, vegetables, whatever. You go home, you make it, you eat it. It's, sustenance. I didn't think about where food came from. I didn't think about anything that went into actually making food, getting food onto the shelves. Wasn't something that I ever really thought about. But living here and having this food community around me, it's when I really started to learn about things like Slow Food International. I had no idea what that was before I came here. I didn't understand that there were issues with food sovereignty, that there were people in the world that lived in these things called food deserts where they didn't have grocery stores anywhere near them. And when I lived here, I met people that not only educated me about that, opened my eyes to that, but also opened my eyes to all the amazing things that we can do with food, that we can enjoy food. I used to, when I lived right across the street here, people would just stop by randomly, be like, hi, I just was in the neighborhood. Let's have some tea. Oh, I made some muffins. I wanted to share them with you. And there was always this sort of sharing environment here in Canmore, and that really changed my perception of food cultures, what it means to have a food culture. I didn't really get it prior to here. And, I was really lucky because I had so many people in this little cul-de-sac that I lived in. I had Jim and Grace here across the street. I had my friend Colleen up at the end of the street. I had my friend Lorna around the corner. We just had this really amazing group of people here. So I wanted to just kind of visit a couple of the places that I had actually gone to. The superfood granola bars that I was talking about, that I actually developed that recipe here because I used to do a lot of endurance sports. I mean, Grotto Mountain is just right here behind us. And, I trained and competed in the death race. I did triathlons, Ironman triathlons. I did a race across the Rockies. I did a race across the Alps, and I did all these, pretty extreme fun sports. I know it doesn't look like I did anything now, but I used to. And the granola bar recipe that we used to feed the athletes when I owned a racing company. So at one point, I haven't told this story yet, but I owned a racing company in Nevada with my boyfriend at the time. And we used to put on trail running races and adventure races and all this fun stuff. And so while living here and being exposed to all these superfoods and amazing different nutrient dense items that you could fuel your body with, I developed this granola bar recipe that then we fed to the athletes and the volunteers when we did our races in Nevada. So it was just a great experience. And from here is where my chocolate journey started. So becoming a master chocolatier started here in Canmore. My desire to, be out more public facing and speak about food started here. I used to do workshops and I loved it. And that was something I'd never done before. So all of it is Canmore. And so Canmore is a very special place for me. We're so incredibly lucky that we can come to Canmore still on a pretty regular basis. And we have great friends here. We will be back for the Canmore and Banff farmers markets in October. And then at Christmas time, this is actually our main place that we come to for our Christmas markets. And we do the Banff Christmas market. And, especially this year, we're really limiting it to the Banff Christmas market as our go-to. And then we have one market in Edmonton. And all of this is to say that I built a community of friends here, and I still have that community of friends here that do support the chocolate business. But now we're expanding into with this Food Explorer. We have a lot of people now that we can reach out to that we want to speak with about their incredible businesses they have here in Canmore. And so those will be lots of upcoming episodes. But like I said, I wanted to start with this, and it's been really fun zipping around and seeing different places. And I've missed lots of places. Trust me, there's so many more things that I could show you. One of the best chai lattes in the Bow Valley is actually up at the Banff Springs Hotel. Going into Banff right now, it is high tourist season, a bit more challenging. We were very lucky with our drive yesterday, and going to Bankhead because it's not something that anybody ever goes to. And so we kind of wanted to have a little bit of a local location to shoot a couple things. Jim and Grace both are endurance athletes. Grace is doing a huge race coming up this weekend. She's like a gazelle. So Jim and I used to mountain bike, and Grace would run, and Grace was faster than us running. She's incredible. And we did a triathlon once. I swam, and Jim mountain biked, and Grace ran. And we never competed before, but we won in our category because I'm a mermaid, and Jim had no idea how fast I was at swimming, but he's so fast on his mountain bike. And then Grace is a gazelle, and it was a fun time. And we definitely, I had all of the fuel snacks that I liked at the race. So I used to make these fruit roll-ups and these banana pancakes and all these different items so that it wasn't such a strain on your system. And I was telling Jason the other day, I wish when I was a competitive swimmer, because I did achieve a high level of competition and I got to just below Olympic level. I attended pre-Olympic trials when I was a swimmer. And I got totally blasted out of the water. I did not do well at the event, but I never knew anything about nutrition when I was a competitive athlete. It wasn't something we talked about. And then when I lived here, how are you fueling for your ride? You're heading up to G8, you're doing the trails. Okay, what are you taking with you? Are you doing electrolytes? Are you doing, making your own electrolytes? And I learned so much here, and I miss living here a lot. I'm a little priced out of the market now, But like I said, we do love that we can come here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode today. It was a bit of a mishmash between some of the different things that we did on our weekend away, a much needed weekend away. And we'll head back to Edmonton today and continue making more stuff for next week. We have planned something for October if we can get it done. We have a super crazy kind of special episode that we're going to do, but it's going to have to be when we come back. We're going to go to an out of the way location that nobody knows about. So it has something to do with a writer, an aristocrat, and royalty. I'll leave it at that. Have a great day, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe. Have a good one.